in Flosstube. This is Gem Stitch here for my March-April works in progress update. So thank you for any new subscribers, and thank you for my long suffering subscribers. I really appreciate all the thumbs up, the comments when I can actually get to them. I appreciate that, thank you. And yeah, thanks for joining me. So as I have quite a few works in progress, I'm going to just get on with it, and because I didn't actually do a video in March, I've left it over again. I have been recording almost like a vlog style, but that's a work in progress in itself. So some things, maybe I'm going to post this video so that it's up in April. I've got some more recording to do at the end next weekend, because although that's Easter, it means we get a long bank holiday, but equally as well, I'm going to Milton Keynes Stitch Retreat, the MK Stitching Retreat, at the following weekend, and so therefore I'm taking part in the Secret Stitcher. So I always tend to do a video which I will post after the Secret Stitcher of what I made for that, and the box as well that I'll prepare for the Secret Stitcher, so the little gifts and things. So based on that, I thought, well, I could leave it till next weekend to do a recording, but actually that's not going to help me, because that's a lot of recording and a lot of uploading, and potentially a movie style video, which I'm not sure that's really for me. So I'm thinking that it might be better to just sort of little and often, as opposed to long and lengthy, but never mind. So let's get straight to it. I've got lots to talk about today, and we'll go straight to my works in progress. As you know, I'm working on several projects at a time. Some get changed out seasonally and others are fixed. So I will talk you through that without trying to repeat myself as I go through. So I'll do the biggies first, the ones that are still on the frame, and then I'll go to my pile of other stuff that needs to be looked at. So the first one, I'm coming out of shot, that I want to talk to you about is creation. Now I did have a couple of questions. Ada Kay was asking me in regards to some of the specialty stitches that are involved in this pattern, but particularly she was interested in the top part here. So what I've done, Ada, is that at the end of this video I've taken a still before I moved my project on the frame, because I'm currently working on a Q-snap with it. So I've taken a still so that hopefully that should help you see the colours that I've used for that. I think it's worth remembering with this pattern, which is, I can't sing its praises enough, but it is worth remembering. And I know I've got a hard copy, and this is quite an old copy because I've had it for a while. And she does actually mention in there that she didn't stitch this to sell necessarily. So what she did was she stitched it and then went back and charted it, which probably is, well, especially for the size of the pattern, isn't the easiest thing to do. So some of it, you know, I think some of it is quite difficult sometimes. I mean, she's as clear as she can possibly be, and there's so much information now out there on the internet that if you're not sure, you can just have a little look and see, and you know, how things might be done, and possibly a different explanation to how some of the specialty stitches are done. But ultimately, if you're happy with the result, then it's an interpretation of this beautiful design because you've stitched it. So, and for me, there's certainly different ways. From the beginning to the end, I've been working on this for about 4 years now, and I certainly stitch in a different way from the top to sort of where I'm working at the bottom, and I would potentially do things differently. But I love this piece because that's exactly what it is. It's a journey, it's my stitching journey, and I tried so many new things with this piece and I absolutely love it. So is my piece perfect? Absolutely not, but I think that's what's great about this. So so that's the pattern, just for you, that people that are unaware. It's creation by Tempting Tangles and the designer's Deborah Dick. You can, she's got an Etsy shop. I haven't seen this as a hard copy for a very long time, but she has got an Etsy shop, so you can get a PDF copy, or she does actually offer to send it to you with an additional postage cost. But yeah, I mean, it's fully accessible. Go get yourself, if you love this design, go get yourself a copy. So, creation. Now, as I said, it is actually on the Q-snap and on the Lowry extender, so that it's easier for me to move around. So I didn't take before and after pictures because I'm useless really. So I think I was working on the sun the last time that you see this piece, which I have completed. This is the section where you put your initials and the date completed. For me, I don't do that till the end. Obviously I've stitched everything almost that needs to be in there, but I don't do that to the end on the basis that for me that's potentially the kiss of death. And if I put a date in there, I will inevitably something will happen and I won't finish it. So I don't put the date in until they literally are my last stitches. So now I've obviously come across, so this is section 1, 2, and I'm on the last section. So you've got these beautiful wavy designs. I've nearly finished, and there was light, so I haven't even quite finished that. I've gone to the top to work on, this will be like a fishing net, and there's seashells using bullion stitches and clam shells, and it's the clam shells that I'm working on at the moment. I can't really see what you can see, but I'm hoping that you can see some of them. So that's currently what I'm working on at the moment, but I'm so very nearly there. And I do, so obviously some of this design has been cut off, this is not all of it. I love this piece. I think you all know I love this piece. I'm so proud of myself, and I love this design. Like I said, I've said before, if this had been a work of art, I would have bought it. I love this design. So yeah, I'm really pleased. When that will be finished, I do not know, but I'm hoping sometime this year, and I will be framing it, and it will be taking pride of place actually in my living room or my dining room downstairs, because I'm really proud of this piece, and I want it to be a focal piece that people see regularly, as opposed to some of the pieces that I have in my stitch room, which are kind of just for my gratification. This I want downstairs so that people get to see it. So that's my creation. And Ada Kay, at the back, at the end of the video, there's a close-up still of the sort of illuminated in at the beginning of the Book of Genesis. So the next thing that's on the frame, now this has actually not had as much work done on it as I would have liked, I'll be honest. In the month of March, I had a week off work, but I spent all of it, not quite a week, but I spent all of it doing and painting up my study. And yeah, so I just didn't stitch. My hands ache after painting, and if they hurt, then I don't tend to stitch. So, and so this actually hasn't had any stitches on it since February, because that's just the way things have worked out. So, but this is, for those of you that are unaware, this is the White Trumpet Pixie. It's part of Nora Corbett's Poison Pixie range, and this was a viewer's choice, so for me to start stitching. I know I've stitched on it since you've seen it, but it's not a lot. So this is where I'm at currently. So this fabric is a Sparklies hand-dyed fabric. It's in the colourway Rose Potpourri. It's on 32 count Belfast linen. I'm stitching the skin 1/1, so this is her arms, and it is, as you never tend to pick up on the videos, it is actually super sparkly and it has a lot of chronic. So you can see what I do is I tend to work up and then I come back down. So I do I do prefer working down, but obviously I can go cross country upwards if it's necessary. Yeah, so that's where she's at the moment. So not as much progress as I would have liked on her, to be honest, but I'll get to her, that's not a problem. So she's in my category of Nora Corbett, Mirabilia or Lavender and Lace. So this is the one that I am stitching on at the moment. The next one is actually coming to an end. Excuse me. Inevitably what's going to happen is I'm going to have quite a few pieces coming to an end all at once, and then it's going to seem like I'm doing loads of new starts. And what doesn't help is that I'm really thinking that I might do some new starts for Mania. I just shouldn't just say no, don't do it. So this is what I would class as my miscellaneous piece. It's exactly what it means. It's anything that doesn't particularly fit into a category for me, so it's not in any of my other categories, and is not obviously seasonal. And that's the doorbell. I'm gonna have to go. Hello again. Hopefully I'll be able to join these two together. If not, this is part 2 of my March-April update. Oh, see, it's just dramas all the time in my house, and it's often child related. But I thought I might as well pause the video, even though my husband was dealing with it. I thought I might as well pause the video because my study is directly above our entrance way into the house, so I may as well, you can probably hear talking or muttering. Where was I? I was in the swing of things. Miscellaneous project. So my miscellaneous project is My Mother's House by Kathy Barrick. Now, I believe that this is a discontinued pattern. I'm not sure if there's some still available on Kathy Barrick's Etsy shop, but by all means go and have a look. It has recently been discontinued, so there may also be L&S's that also have a copy of this in store. So, but if you do like this, then don't leave it too long to go and get one. But I really like the colours. They're very my colours, as you can tell. So, My Mother's House by Kathy Barrick. And it actually says on it, there is no place like my mother's house built. It says 1833. My intention with this is to actually do the female line from me, starting from my daughter but going to my nan, and all the females on that side of the family, which there's 5 of us, including me, and because she's obviously got initials and places, so that's what I've done. And I'm actually starting the built, and I'm going to do it from 1925, which was when my nan was born, because then that way it's like the oldest mother. So out of those. I don't iron any of these until I'm ready to frame or do what I'm going to do with them. So hopefully you can see that. So I really don't have too much more to go. As you can see, well, you can't really see because of this lettering, but I just need to finish because I just wanted to check dates. So I just needed to just be sure whether it was 25 or 26 that my grandmother was born. So my nan, and then I'm just filling in the black. But I really like this piece. This is actually stitched on 32 count Belfast linen. It is a hand dye by Sparklies, and it's in the colourway Dr Smiths Tonic. So, and I will be framing this piece. And I think a nice chunky black frame would look great. And I may even be putting this downstairs as well. because I think I've got a nice mirror that would look good with it. So that's my miscellaneous piece. The next piece is what would be a new start, or no, it's not a new start, but it would be a new one from my last video, because this is a seasonal piece in the sense that it's the ornaments, and the ornaments and the seasonal I change out seasonally. So beginning of March was spring for me. The weather doesn't always cooperate, but for me. So I've gone back to my sampler Easter eggs. This is one that I've started before, and I intend to stitch all 8. I won't be finishing these until, or fully finishing these until I've done all 8. So I've already done some, sorry, it's still in the Q snap. I've already done some in previous years. This was March's egg, so it's sort of very St Patrick's. There is some specialty stitches in there, but there's not many. So I haven't actually started on, ideally I would have liked to have done one a month, but I haven't even started on the equivalent of the second one for the April, because I'm stitching a secret stitcher, and that's kind of a priority at the moment to try and get that done, because it's got a deadline. So that's my focus piece, and really I started it a little bit late. I started to think about it in March, but then when I went back and looked at the pattern, I had to adjust the pattern because I wasn't 100% not comfortable, that sort of makes it sound terrible. I wasn't 100% happy with one of the patterns that I was looking at, so I adjusted it by adding things, taking stuff away and adding things, and that took extra time, which you'll understand when you see it. And that took a little bit of extra time, which means that when I actually come to start stitching it, it was April. And I'm pushing my luck really, because it needs to be finished by the 26th of April, actually finished, because that's when I'm going to the retreat, and I would like to do a recording as well, so I'm falling a little bit behind. So I haven't done any stitching yet today. After I've done this video and after I've uploaded it, I'll be stitching, at least doing a little bit of stitching in to try and, you know, get that near to finished. So, and as soon as that's done, I can do a recording of what my secret stitcher is, but I won't be uploading that obviously until May. So that's my seasonal ornaments, which is the sampler egg. So the next one is SALs. SALs as in stitch along. So the first SAL that I've done, or that I'm currently working on, is the sorry, it's shining, Country Cottage Needleworks Dream Big. So this is a stitch along with the Facebook group Country Cottage, or Little House Needleworks and Country Cottage Stitching. I'll put that information down below. And yeah, so this is meant to be March, April's stitch along. I didn't get this at the beginning of March, so I didn't start it until mid-March. And then what's happened is, because this is a small enough piece that I would normally be able to get this finished, but then obviously now I'm stitching the secret stitcher to try and get, so that's kind of put everything on hold a little bit. But yeah, so that's Dream Big by Country Cottage Needleworks, and I'm stitching it on a 28 count even weave in all the recommended threads, so it's going to be a reasonably large-ish ornament, if that's what I end up doing with it. And it's on sparklies fabric. It's 28 count even weave, as I said, and it's in the colourway Primrose, so it's really nice because it's like mottled blues and greens. I obviously have a thing about green and spring, light green and spring. That's obviously what I associate with that colourway. So that's where I'm at. I may take this to the MK just to get it finished. When the time, well actually I want to really get it finished before, because there's at the Milton Keynes retreat, Sarah Marnie, who's the person that runs the retreat, actually does put up retreat New Start, and some of the ladies that I speak to everybody, but some of the ladies that are on my table, I've been doing a little stitch along with those ladies and participate, and I believe it's Crafty Creative Claire and myself. There may be other members that will be doing it, but we're doing a new start at the retreat, and I want this to be put in place of the Sal. Really, I don't just want to be doing a new start. So this is quite a popular piece from Market, and this is the Blue Flower Quilting Bee. So it's recommended to be stitched on 40 count sheep's straw linen by R&R Reproductions. I actually had 2 pieces of linen that I felt would be suitable, but I'd stitched them. I'd hand dyed them myself a couple of years ago now. But so this is 36 count, so I'll double check the measurements, but I'm sure this is big enough. So this is my version, which is the lovely golden yellow colour, or I had another version which was more of a mottled grey, and I thought, you know, until I get the threads I'm not sure. But actually I received the threads for it from Peakside the other day, and let me have a look. How can I do this? Yeah, I mean, that would actually still show that one, so, because it was that one I was concerned about really. But there's some beautiful threads. One of them, let me find it, it's here. That lagoon is stunning, especially on that colour. So this will be a new start at the retreat for me, and that will hopefully, let's take that great one out, that will hopefully take place as the Sal, because it is a Sal really. There's my next piece. So I'm putting it in my project bag along with Dream Big, the one before, because they're both Sal. Just one's pending and one needs to be finished. So that's my stitch alongs. Again, this piece hasn't had much time spent on it. This is my BAP category, big arse project category, and that is the 101 Alphabets by Karen Kluber, Rosewood Manor. And probably not much different from where you last see it. So I've actually worked, let's have a look if I can. Okay. So this is going to be an A. So this letter actually comes over into page 3. So this is page 1's completed, half of page 2 at the top, and going into page 3. I tend to, the way I'm doing it is that I'm completing motifs. If they run over, then they run over, but I like to complete the motifs. So, and then once I've sort of done page 2, then I'll move down from page 1. Some of this already does go into page 10 because of the way it's laid out, and I'll do that so that it ends up working kind of diagonally really. So, but that's where I'm at. So I'm stitching this on 36 count antique white linen, Edinburgh linen by Zwaigart. and I'm stitching it as recommended. I'm stitching 2 threads and over 2, and sometimes just one over 1, or just 1 strand. It's the information is very clear on there, so it's not difficult to follow, even if it is a book. So that's where I'm at with that. I don't expect to make great strides. After all, it is a big bum project. So that's where I'm at with my BAP. So my next one, let's have a look. My next category is sampler. And I was actually using that for the, I'm using the Antique and Needlework quarterly magazines. This is in from volume 14. It's called the 2 Pairs Stocking. And that is what it should look like. This is part of a series by Phyllis Hoffman. And I can't remember where I was at last time, so I don't want to repeat myself too much. But this is where I am now. So again, I'm not too far from a finish. There's some elements of this that I really love. I like the woven pair. You can see one's stitched and one's woven. I like the bee with the little bit of krennic. And she does recommend using like sequins, but I may use beads in the same place of the sequins, sort of dotted throughout this piece. And then you've got, I've gone on to do the birds, Blessed Season of Love and Hope. I need to finish that tree. I particularly think that this is quite effective. This is eyelet stitches and queen stitches, and this has given a nice almost 3D textured feel, which is what I do like about embroidery stitches and or specialty stitches, whatever you want to call them. Now in the design, it's a very flat stocking, and she's obviously included initials and things, and I don't necessarily want to include initials. I know now is not the time to start changing a pattern when you're pretty much nearly finishing it, but I prefer, maybe, let me think about it, I may end up just doing it, finishing it like this, but I do prefer it when it's a bit more sock shape, so that this comes down a bit and you've got more of the instep, heel and instep. Again, now is not the time to do this when you've nearly finished. So I need to think about that a little bit more. It may end up just being exactly that. But obviously, as you can see, the 2 stags are actually one behind each other, exactly behind each other, because of where she's positioned some initials. Because I don't want to put initials on it, I didn't want there to be big gaps, so I moved one of the stags and repositioned him. He's exactly the same stitch as this one, this guy. So I've moved one of the stags and I'll put him there. And I think that what will happen is that if I do end up sort of doing an instep, so you have a heel or more pronounced heel instep, and the toe will come down, then obviously I'll have to move this tree a little bit further down, which is why I maybe should have done that before I just went ahead gung-ho, but never mind. We'll see. It may end up like this anyway. But I'm stitching this on 32 count flax, Belfast flax, so that is currently where I'm at. And I haven't put a name on the stocking other than I'm naming the stocking after what it's called. I mean, it's called 2 Pairs, I've just put pairs. So that is where I'm at. I mean, if I want to move it down, I haven't got an awful lot of space. We shall see. But I really do like these older stitches. I know some of the colours can be deemed as a bit dated, but ultimately it is a sampler, so you know, I actually do really like the colours. So, and these are really just for show. They're not going to be actually used as a sampler, as a stocking. So that's in place of my sampler segment. And then my seasonal, last but not least, my seasonal piece, which again would get changed out seasonally, was a new start at the beginning of March, and it's to go along with my garden, my seasonal gardens by Cuore, Batticuore, and this was a new start. This was the last one that I needed to start. I've finished one, I've got 2 others on the go, and this is the last one. So I started this in March. So it's Cuore, Batticuore, and this would be spring garden. And I've opted for, let me just have a look. I've opted to stitch this on 32 count Belfast in vintage green. So this is the printed fabric by zwaigart. Hopefully you can't hear my stomach. So again, I would have liked to have got one of these finished a month, which as you can see for the month of March, I actually did that. And then I started on the border in April, but the secret stitcher, that has to be done. So it's kind of put me behind a little bit. So I'll just take this along with me, or maybe my sampler eggs, to get them done at the retreat at the end of April, so that'll be on track. And then I can do the third one, which is primrose. We'll fit the other side. If I can do 3, 1 a month out of the, obviously there's 3 months I'm using as a seasonal, then I think, you know, that's a relative keeping me on track type thing. If I can do more, even better. But I think that's a fair assumption. So they're my projects, and that's what I've been working on for March and April. I'm going to go into some purchases and obviously my fabric of the month. If you don't like that sort of thing, then I shall see you later. I hope you enjoyed seeing some of my progress. Thank you for sticking with me while my whole video schedule becomes a work in progress. But I'm hoping to get things done to try and offer you as much content as possible, but it's taking a little bit of jigging at the moment. So here's what I've got for haul. So important things, nice tray, boring floss away bags, but these are ideal. I use floss away bags for my specialty threads because I prefer to use those. I hope this isn't too loud with the crinkling. So my first fabric of the month, I'm trying to remember what I got first. I think I've got this one first because I've got 2 to show you, was Harvest Blush. So this is Belfast, 32 count. And this is a lovely, again, quite a neutral. Yeah, that's a nice colour. Beautiful, isn't it? It's sort of peachy pinks and not pinky, more peach blush. It's exactly that, Harvest Blush. So really, really like that fabric. To be fair, even the stronger colours in the sparklies range, as you can tell, oh, you can't see it in there. I mean, I like her fabric, so enough said, really. So that's Kate at Sparklies. I'll put that information down below. And then the second piece is fabulous. And ironically matches my study. She must have known. So this is Maelstrom, 32 count linen again in a fat quarter size. And it may even blend into the walls because it is that close in colour, but I love it. I mean, how moody is that? That's just fabulous. Really, really like that. And I feel like I just keep saying, oh, that's another one I'd get. That's another one I'd buy again. I'd buy them all again, really. So they're my fabrics of the month. Obviously, that's just a catch up. I only get one a month. So that would be my February and March fabrics of the month. And I'll get one at the end of April. So other things that I have picked up recently, I've got Cuore Batticuore's Shabby Advent Calendar. I'm not necessarily planning on stitching this anytime soon. I'm also probably not necessarily going to do it as an advent calendar. I'm thinking more of it was ideal for the motifs. So I need to have a little think about that, but I picked that up. And the same thing as well for the autumn. And that's the same sort of argument. It's the motifs that I'm interested in, not necessarily the whole calendar. So I picked those up. So this is an oldie but a goodie. The Nantucket Girl Sampler by Plunge Street Samplers. I've picked this one up as well. The reason I like this one is obviously I love the song and the poem. But what really drew me to it is that I may actually personalise it a lot more. So I may take out the Nantucket Girls song. I'm going to see and look into the history. I mean, she says the inspiration for this sampler come after reading Nathaniel Philbrick's In the Heart of the Sea, in which he recounts the events of the whale ship Essex and how it was rammed and sunk by a sperm whale. In his book, the author quotes a verse found in the diary of Nantucket Islander Eliza Brock, which I fell in love with and used to create this sampler. I hope you enjoy stitching it as much as I did. Yeah, see, because the verse has been used, I probably feel it's only fair that Eliza Brock is mentioned in it. But the Nantucket Girls song, or I may change certain things around. I want to add, because I live in the county of Essex and I was born in the county of Essex at the time. It's now a London borough, but I was born in it's Essex and it's London at the same time. But I was born in Barking, and Barking is famous for, in history, not now, is famous for the Barking Abbey that was obviously torn down in the dissolution of monasteries by Henry VIII. But equally you've got St Margaret's Church, which is on the grounds of Barking Abbey, or the ruins of Barking Abbey, and that's where Captain Cook got married. So yes, I want to sort of maybe personalise it in some way so that it brings it back to Barking. That's my plan. Then I picked up these samplers because, you know, I'm all into these, even though I haven't stitched one yet and I so badly want to start it. This is what I'm saying. So these are the zwaigars, or Wreaths. And this one was one that was sort of released as a market release, although I think it did actually come out in October of last year. But it was done as a market release this year. So this is the Mary Knowles 1824, or The Finding of Moses. So it's very brown in colour, and a lot of the colours are brown. But there's some really interesting details in here. And I really, actually, it's not a big sampler. This would fit on a fat quarter. So I have the fabric for it. I don't have all the threads. Really want to start this if I can find an excuse. But it's called Finding Moses. It's got the Adam and Eve in it. It's got the leaves is green, the rose is red. Here is my name when I am dead. Look on this and you may see what care my parents took of me. Mary Knowles, her work in 1824. That's the zwaigart. I picked that up just before market because I bought it from Casa Sonina. And like I said, I think it was actually, although it was sort of done as a market release, it was available before. So that's probably why I was able to get hold of it. This I adore, but it is a big size. So, but this just makes my heart sing, and I so badly want to. I should take it out of the wrapper really. But this is called the Morris Dancer, adapted by Maria Cooper, sampler 1790, and how could I not love something with Morris dancing in it, in the sense of in the sampler style, and Adam and Eve and the sun and the moon. I mean, it's like ticking every box, but it is a large piece. So I love it, absolutely love it. And I really want to stitch it. So it's going to be quite expensive to kit it up. Let's have a look. It's going to need 26 threads, and they consist of Gast, Gentle Art Sampler, Classic Colourworks and Weeks Dye Work, which granted, that's not silk, but yeah, 26 threads is a hefty amount. But I really like it, really like it. And I really want to start it. But then I really want to start this too. So, they're my purchases. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this doesn't end up being too long. So I'm just keeping this as a whip and haul and fabric of the month type video. So that's my March, April. So I won't do another one of these videos until at least May, because you won't see a massive amount of progress. So I hope everybody has a lovely Easter and a nice break, and I will be spending the following weekend at Milton Keynes retreat, so I'll obviously be posting videos in regards to that, and hopefully get some recordings of other things that might be going on there as well. I mainly record other people's work with their permission and stuff, so that we can see the sort of work that's around there. So I will see you guys soon. Thank you very much for all your support. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I know I haven't been getting back to my comments. I've been pressing heart. Just love, thank you so much for all the support, and your comments are really important to me. So thank you for that. If there's any other questions, I'm going to be putting the picture for Ada Kate at the end of this video. Someone also made reference to some of the fabric that I used for Forest Snowfall. I'm going to put that in the information box down below. And what I'm going to do is, if I show you anything in regards to fabric, I think that'd probably be the best thing in the future. If I show you anything to do with regards to fabric, or where I may have purchased things, then I'm just going to put it in the information box so that people can find it. So thank you guys. I shall see you later. Bye bye, and happy stitching.